Picture the moon bobbing like a silver splinter in black water off far Ibben. A lonely whaler named Jorlak braces his harpoon when the sea beneath him suddenly stills, as though the deep itself has forgotten to breathe. No wind lifts the rigging, yet the boards hum under his boots. He peers upward, heart hammering the back of his throat. A shape slips across the stars, vast enough to swallow constellations, silent save for the soft crackle of air igniting along crimson-edged scales. It hangs a heartbeat above the mast, then vanishes into the night, leaving only the taste of ash and the faint smell of burnt metal. Jorlak will spend the rest of his days telling that tale, and no one will believe a syllable. For the creature he saw was older than Vhagar, larger than Balerion, and by every learned measure should not exist. Before we give chase across half the world, lend your own spark to this voyage. When the telling is done, descend to the comments and command the next what if you would have me hunt. Your likes, shares, and wild imaginings keep my ink fresh, and for that I give thanks. When Valyria stood unbroken, its chroniclers insisted that only a handful of dragons rivaled mighty Vhagar, and just one, Balerion the Black Dread, ever surpassed her. Yet the jade-stained notebooks of Archmaester Enys, locked for centuries in the Citadel's shadow vault, whisper a different truth. Long before the Doom, dozens of unsaddled dragons haunted the world's ragged edges. Cliff shadows in Sothoryos, black specks circling the frozen cap of Ibben, ember glows swirling above the red horizons near Asshai. Enys divided these wanderers into 3 secret castes. First came the feral descendants, born of tamed dragons who slipped their chains in wartime confusion. Next were the primordial elders, drakes that hatched when the earth was soft and the sky still bled comet fire. Last were the darklings, beasts twisted by blood sorcery, winged weapons abandoned when their creators perished. It is among those second and third castes that the true giants live, creatures whose wings outspan Vhagar's by a quarter or more, and whose names slip like smoke through half-remembered songs. Valyria's strength rested on 2 pillars, pride and proximity. Pride meant a dragon lord would sooner mount a sickly hatchling bearing his own blood marks than bow to a wild titan of unknown sire. Proximity meant opportunity. The greatest ferals nested far from the freehold's glittering towers, roosting instead in ice-locked fjords, steaming jungle craters, or cloud-wreathed peaks no rider cared to reach. To take an adult dragon required rituals of terrible cost. 9 nights blindfolded amid choking fumes, bone knives scoring runes into living scale. Such rites were reserved for kin, never for what the highborn sneered at as mongrel worms. So the giants went unclaimed, too remote, too dangerous, and in the end, too proud to bend a knee. Let us sail north first, where the shivering sound churns between Ibben's tusk-like capes and the frost fog of the endless ice. There, on a cliff of glassy basalt, roosts a dragon the Ibbenese priests call Umbraxos. They swear he hatched when moon ice cracked and spilled silver seeds, and they carve him into whalebone scrimshaw, devouring longships whole. Old harpoons recovered from belly scars stretch 40 spans from tip to bend, enough for even the most cautious maester to reckon his wings at 250 spans, greater by far than Vhagar in her prime. His scales gleam midnight blue shot with ghostly veins of pale fire, and his wingtips shimmer like smoked glass. Stranger still is his breath, for Umbraxos exhales not flame, but a freezing vapor that glass shatters oak and coats rigging in shining rime. No Valyrian ever tried to break him. Ice and sorcery mix poorly, and northern cold numbs the magic they once wielded like a whip. Those who sail those waters learn to look skyward when the sea falls eerily silent, for that hush is the beat of his enormous wings slicing the night. Now steer south, across half a world, to a place so fevered with life, it reeks of rot, even in memory. Deep in Sothoryos lies Lake Jok, a cauldron ringed by smoking volcanoes, where the air steams green and the jungle never sleeps. Within that stifling bowl lives Kharmelion. His scales are dull brass, but sulphurous growths have crusted over them like barnacles, so he moves in a haze of yellow smoke. Bones of brontosaurs, broken open like crab shells, litter the shorelines of his lair, proof enough that his jaw pressure surpasses Balerion's black steel bite. Yet it is his breath the Carthan fear most, a lime-green torrent that clings to flesh like wildfire and spews choking vapors. Some whisper Kharmelion sprang from Valyria's wars with old Gis, bred to poison crops and blight fields, then loosed upon the jungle when peace rendered him too terrible to keep. 7 times the freehold sent expeditions, 6 never returned, and the 7th came back half mad, coughing black blood, the captain's tongue shriveled to a stump by the fumes. He died muttering that even the sun bled green in Kharmelion's shadow. Last we journey east of east, beyond the red waste, where the river ash meets horizons painted crimson at noon and pitch black at night. There rise the uncold peaks, mountains jagged as a dragon's jaw, and upon the highest crag perches Aurionyx. Asshai bone-setters say his skull alone would span 7 men abreast. He is a void in the sky, scales so dark they devour lantern light. Only a faint constellation-flecked blaze glimmers along his chest like embers caught in obsidian. His fire is silent, heat without light that turns granite to soft gray ash without ever casting a spark. Princess Aeria Targaryen, delirious after her doomed flight to Valyria, scrawled frantic sketches of a dragon made of night, its maw ringed with dying stars. Grand Maester Black dismissed it as fever dream, yet her drawings match cave etchings carved in Asshai stone, long before the first men crossed into Westeros. No rider has reached him. Those who come too close vanish into shadow, and the shadow binds their tongues with terror forever after. Skeptics ask how beasts of such scale remain ghosts. Territory is the first answer. Umbraxos ranges across seas larger than the Reach twice over. Kharmelion rules jungles that swallow armies whole. Aurionyx circles peaks where compasses spin and even ravens refuse to fly. Nor do they need settlements to sate their endless hunger. Umbraxos drags whales screaming beneath the ice. Kharmelion feasts on thunder lizards and volcanic vents. Aurionyx drinks the sky itself, or so the Shadowbinders claim. Witnesses die to jungle fevers, drown in polar storms, or simply go mad at what they have seen, leaving only barroom tales to carry the rumor. And there is magic too. Umbraxos's freezing mist cloaks his outline like fog. Kharmelion's green smoke confuses every lookout as natural swamp vapor, and Aurionyx's heatless flame casts no betraying glow. Where light fails, rumors flourish, and history looks the other way. Let us not lose ourselves in wonder. Vhagar, hatched on Dragonstone, bore Queen Visenya in conquest, Prince Balon after, Lady Laena Velaryon, and at last Prince Aemond, measuring 200 spans when she fell in 130 AC. Balerion, older still, died in 94 AC at over 250 spans. None of our 3 wanderers claim descent from either. They stand outside Valyria's meticulous breeding scrolls, proof that the Freehold's pits were but one thread in a far older tapestry of fire and wing. From time to time, the giants brush against our world and leave scars. In 132 AC, Lord Corbray heard a thunderous groan above the mountains of the moon. Clear skies ruled out landslide, yet the rumble lasted 3 nights. It matched the hum Ibbenese sailors attribute to Umbraxos. In 211 AC, The Ninepenny Kings financed a raid into Sothoryos seeking green wildfire that burns twice as fierce. No ship returned. Dockside whispers say Kharmelion himself boiled the expedition to steam, and in 283 AC, the Carthene spice galley Pearl of the Dawn reached Volantis with hull scorch marks, cold as tombstone though black as soot, the same residue found on stones reputedly scorched by Aurionyx near Asshai. Each incident ends in shrugs and superstition, but together they sketch a shadow on the map. The dragons reborn to Queen Daenerys were hatchlings barely a tenth the size of Vhagar, and even they proved nigh impossible to break. What chance would any rider, dragon seed or Targaryen true, have with Umbraxos, Kharmelion, or Aurionyx? Saddles would snap beneath the first wing beat. Centuries without a human voice have hardened these titans against trust, and the iron-strong binding spells the Valyrians once wove drifted into the doom's black smoke. To master such giants would mean relearning sorceries buried with the 14 flames, or inventing new ones at even darker costs. Cartographers shade the world's edge with tidy lines, yet between those strokes, the living realm yawns wider than any library shelf. There, in fjords streaked with frost, jungles writhing with disease, and mountains drowned in shadow, the oldest dragons thrive. They do not crown kings or light thrones aflame, and so the annals forget them. But they are real. They stalk our dreams because their wings still churn the clouds just beyond sight, and because their existence reminds us that the known world is a candle's glow in an endless night. One day a daring soul may brave Umbraxos's glacier lair, or circle Lake Joch, wearing a mask of brass and hope the jungle does not swallow him, or ride the crimson thermals of Asshai until Aurionyx's void eclipses the sun. Yet remember, Balerion obeyed Aegon because he knew no true rival. These wanderers have never knelt. To bend one would mean rewriting every law that blood and fire once carved in living bone. So ends our flight, bold listeners. 3 shadows larger than legend, unclaimed and unleashed beyond the corners of every tidy chart. If their wings still beat, then somewhere a jungle smolders green, an ocean crusts with rime, and a mountain melts to white ash beneath a silent, starless flame. Now, the quill passes to you. What path of paper and possibility shall see Black explore next? Lost Valyrian eggs? The ghost brood of sheep-stealer and nettles? The dire wolf said to sire ice dragons beyond the wall? Cast your choice into the comments. Kindle a like to keep our lantern bright, and accept my deepest thanks for keeping these stories alive. Until we fly again, may your own dragons of ink, ambition, or quiet hope carry you unscathed through the gathering dark.